There's more to Chicago than just pulling up and checking out the Bean or going to see Navy Pier or going downtown to see the Sears Tower. Wait, it's the Willis Tower now. So if you're thinking about checking out Chicago, there are some things that you just gotta know first, okay? And I got your back. I'm gonna put you on game right here, right now. So stick around to the end of this video, okay? So you can go from a tourist to a local expert. Let's go. If this is your first time on this channel, you want to know everything there is to know about living in Chicago, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Chicago. Hey, what's up? It's your boy Marlon here, and I'm here to be your local guide on all things Chicago, okay? So if you're thinking about making a move and you're looking for a great realtor in your area, give me a call or shoot me a text or shoot us an email. We'd love to connect with you and help make that move as smooth as possible, okay? But let's get into this list of things that you need to know before visiting Chicago. All right, let's break it down. Let's go ahead and start off with number one, okay? The first gem you're gonna wanna know is that you probably already know this, but if you don't, okay, the S in Illinois is silent, okay? So don't come to Chicago and talk about, you're visiting Chicago, Illinois. It's like you're gonna be side-eyed like this. Okay, like we're gonna look at you crazy because that is not how you pronounce it. We're gonna know right off the jump that you are not from here, you are a tourist, and we're gonna just look the other way, okay? Or we might, politely come over and say, hey, the S is silent, okay? It's just Chicago, Illinois, okay? So that's the first gem. Moving on into the second gem, all right, that's gonna be that Rockford is nowhere near Chicago, okay? If you're visiting and you're saying you're gonna go to Rockford and you're landing in Chicago, just know you got about an hour and a half drive west to get to Rockford, okay? That's nowhere near Chicago. It's not even considered, part of Chicago, but it is the second largest city in Illinois, okay? Rockford is the second largest city, but it's nowhere near Chicago, okay? So also know that, people in Chicago are very prideful about their metropolitan area. So, if you're in the suburbs and you say you're in Chicago and you're talking to somebody who's actually from Chicago, they're gonna be like, no, we're not in Chicago, we're in the suburbs, okay? So just know that, people there, they do take pride in that, okay? Moving on right to number three, gem number three is gonna be that Southern Illinois may as well be Missouri, okay? Because most Chicagoans don't go past, the suburbs of Chicago. The furthest I've actually traveled was Urbana-Champaign because that's where U of I is, the Fighting Illini. I've been to a couple of their games, visited the campus. It's very nice in Urbana-Champaign, but Carbondale, Peoria, Normal, those, towns down there in Southern Illinois, chances are they might as well be part of Missouri, okay? But that's gonna be gem number three. Now moving on to gem number four. We know that the Windy City is our nickname, but Chicago is actually not the windiest city in the US, all right? There are actually cities that have higher wind speeds than us, okay? So Chicago, we do have very flat terrain as well. You're not gonna find any hills or any, mountains or any of that stuff here in the Midwest. We don't have any of that stuff. So, it's gonna be very flat. So you just expect that, okay? But we do have a very nice nature preserves for my nature goers. We have something called Starved Rock, very nice there. So go check that out if you're into nature or you wanna kind of be around some nature and the stuff that comes with. That's a great place to do that. Okay, let's move on to number five, okay? Number five is going to be that it does get very humid and hot here during the summertime. A lot of 80s and a lot of 90s degree weather during the summertime, and it does get cold here in the wintertime. You probably already knew that, but I'm gonna tell you something that us Chicagoans say. Cold don't stop nothing, okay? It don't stop nothing at all. We still go out. You'll see people pulling up to the club in their dresses, or guys pulling up in their, their shirts and their jackets, whatever it is. The cold don't stop nothing here in Chicago. So if you're from a warm state and when it gets cold outside, you're inside all day. Yeah, that's not how it's gonna be here in Chicago. You might get asked to go out in the middle of December, or you might get asked to go out for New Year's, or in January, February, people are still doing things, okay? It don't matter if it's snowing or not. I can guarantee you they're still out there walking in the snow in their fresh ones or in their high heels. I guarantee you it's happening, okay? So that's gonna be number five. Now moving on to number six, that's gonna be that we don't do the ketchup on the hot dogs. Now some people do, I'm not one of them, but hey, I get mine Chicago style hot dog, okay? No ketchup, mustard, right? I can do some relish sometimes, but that's gonna be a thing here in Chicago, okay? But if you're just getting ketchup on your hot dog, then hey, you might be a little odd. But anyway, it's okay if you do. I'm just joking. But moving on to number 7, that's gonna be that it's a corner store, not a bodega, okay? We're not in New Jersey or New York, okay? It is not a bodega, it is a corner store. You're gonna go get you a bag of chips or something, or go get you in Arizona, right? Go get it from the corner store or the gas station, okay? Not the bodega, okay? So if you say that to somebody from Chicago that's never been to the East Coast, they're not gonna know what you're talking about. So just a heads up there. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one is very, very important, especially if you're gonna be driving around here in Chicago, especially if you're gonna be on the highways. Don't get caught up in Wacker Drive, okay? If you get to Wacker Drive and you end up underneath there, just know that your GPS is gonna go in ghost mode. It's not gonna know exactly where it's at. It's gonna be looking around trying to find a signal. You might end up lost if you're on Wacker Drive. Okay, so after you've avoided Wacker Drive and you prayed and you was able to successfully get out of there, next is going to be that the Willis Tower, some people still call it the Sears Tower, okay? I might be one of them, right? I made that mistake as well, right? And if you're talking to people and they say go to the Sears Tower, they mean the Willis Tower because the name was changed a couple years back as well. So just know that those two are the same building. So moving on right to the next one, that's gonna be that we will ride and die for the Bears, right? That is our football team. We're not switching up at all. I'm telling you right now, right? Don't come for our Bears because we will come for you, okay? And we know what's going on right now. We got Mr. Fingernails out there on the football field for us. But hey, man, you better win us some games, okay? But moving on from that, right? We ride or die for our Bears. All right, we don't care how long it's gonna take, okay? It took the Cubs 106 years to win the World Series. The Sox are right now the worst team in baseball history. So I mean, it's rough out here for Chicago on our sports teams. But hey, we are still 10 toes down. We're not moving. All right, moving on, right? These next ones are gonna be very, very important. So I want you to pay close attention, okay? Most people in Chicago, when they are driving, they ignore the speed limit, okay? So just be aware of that. You will get cut off as well. Some people don't even use their turn signal when they're changing lanes. You might even see a car driving down the highway at night with no headlights on, okay? We're gonna be looking at them like, what are they doing, okay? But, that's just something that you're gonna see here in Chicago. So just become a defensive driver as well. Make sure you stay safe out there on the roads. And just be careful, okay? And also, the next one is going to be that jaywalking is more common, and it is just more of an option than it is a law here in Chicago. People jaywalk all the time. They walk across the street. You'll be on one corner, they'll walk to the other corner, right through the middle of the street, okay? So just be careful out there. Make sure your head is on a swivel, right? You see all the pedestrians walking around. But if you're downtown in Chicago, people are a lot better at waiting on the light to change than just going ahead and jaywalking and walking out there in the street, because that is a huge risk, okay? But just make sure your head's on the swivel, because jaywalking is more of an option than it is a law. And I've been to different cities where they almost give you a ticket for jaywalking, okay? So, but not here in Chicago. But the next one's gonna be that parking spots do not have dibs, all right? So if you're going ahead and living in downtown or somewhere in Chicago where you don't have a driveway and you have to park on the street, just know that your parking spot may be gone or taken by someone else as soon as you drive away from that parking spot, okay? So you don't have dibs on your parking spot. So I highly recommend either, you might have to pay for a parking spot, or, just kind of hope and pray that your spot is still there when you get back. But that's more of so for people who are kind of close to the inner city and they don't have, driveways and things like that. Now, if you are in the suburbs of Chicago, then hey, you're gonna have the streets you could park on for free, and you're gonna have a driveway more than likely you could park there as well. So those are gonna be for, the people who are kind of closer to the city and have to park on the street, stuff like that. But just know that you don't have dibs there, and as soon as you leave that parking spot, it's probably gonna be gone. But moving on, this last one is because you stuck around to the end of this video, and this one's literally gonna take you from a regular tourist to a local expert. People are not gonna be able to know the difference from a regular Chicago resident and you, okay, just because you know how to do this, all right? So if you're driving and you pull up to a 6-point intersection, right, just know how to make a left turn in that intersection, okay? Make sure you go ahead and get all the way out there in the middle, almost in the middle of the intersection, and you put that turn signal on and you make that turn or whichever way you gotta go, okay? Don't just sit behind the line and wait, for, an opening for you. You're not going to be able to turn. People are very aggressive when they drive out here in Chicago. Okay, so just be aware of that. Get out there. They're not going to hit you and make that left turn. All right, but there you go. Those are all the gems for you to go ahead and become to Chicago and become an expert in the field of Chicago. All right, so thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. And if you're thinking about making a move to Chicago, or if you're thinking about visiting Chicago and you're looking for a realtor, right, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I love to help you out and help make that move as smooth as possible. All right, but until next time, my friend,